Hello, my name is Amanda, and this is my video for discussion 4, where I will be discussing muckraking and muckrackers and the concept of it and how it applies to the modern day in media. So first, muckraking is it's basically journalism that sets out to expose people, politicians, the government, corporations, companies, as corrupt. It's journalists who go and seek out and investigate these certain organizations or people to find information on them to prove that they're corrupt or anything like that. In modern day, we call it investigative journalism, but investigative journalism and muckraking are basically the same thing. It's just muckraking is the name that it started with, and then now it's investigative journalism. And it started after yellow journalism became a thing. It was then muckraking, and it was during the progressive era. And a lot of muckrackers focused on things like child labor, political machines, political campaigns, corrupt companies, poverty at the time, prostitution at the time, and anything basically that journalists deemed as corruption and something that they can get their hands on. So that's what they mainly focused on. And they just investigated and found the information that they needed to inform the public of the corruption. One of the questions asked is this a legitimate concept? Of course it is. I think it is 100%, because I mean, like I said, even today it's going on. Investigative journalism is 100% a thing. It's just muckraking is just how it started. Now that's not saying that all of the information that muckrackers get and use is legit, but I think if the journalists are ethical and are able to get the truth, then yes, it's a legitimate type of journalism. But then again, there's always people who are not ethical. There's journalists that follow the rules and there's journalists that don't. But even then, it's still a legit concept, I believe, because it's still information that journalists are getting and reporting and writing about, and that's journalism. And media, basically. I just think that in order for any muckrackers or investigative journalists, in order for them to be legit, it has to be truth to their stories. There has to be legitimate truth, and they can't just be making up these things to a company or a politician that they don't like. They have to be truly investigating it and truly finding the truth. And if they don't, then it's not a legit thing. Then they're not legit. And like I said earlier, muckraking is still a thing during these modern times. It's just called investigative journalism. You see it all the time in media. I think, especially right now, because of, 1, the coronavirus, and 2, the election coming up, a lot of investigative journalism goes towards the politicians and the government and what they're doing, what they're not doing. And I think that also with how separate our news organizations are, like if they focus more on Democrats or Republicans, they're going to focus on investigating the Democrats or the Republicans and focusing on investigating the corruption of the opposite party. And I think nowadays, because of social media, it spreads faster, so there's more of a concern for truth with the public, maybe not with the journalists, but with the public, we want the truth. But with investigative journalism today, I think some of it, with like any media nowadays, it's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be out in a second. So sometimes truth slips by, but in order for, like I said before, in order for it to be a legitimate story, a legitimate thing, there needs to be truth behind the investigations. There need to be a reason for the investigations. And I think, for the most part, if a journalist feels the need to investigate a politician or a company or anything like that, they have the right to do so, because if it's something that the public needs to know, then the public needs to know. And if they're the ones that are investigating it, then they're the ones investigating it. And if it's information we need to know, we need to know it. And it's just, like I said, with social media, it goes by faster. So I think investigative journalism or muckraking today, it's more common, I guess. I think that's all I got to say about this. Thanks for watching and listening to my input on muckraking. Thanks, and stay safe, stay home, wash your hands. Bye.